Good afternoon. I'm going to conduct a lesson. The topic is reading for pleasure. I'm from Nazarbayev Intellectual School of Physics and Math, Kokshetau City. My name is Julia Varюta. I'm a teacher of English. The lesson will be for 12 graders. Hopefully for the next year they will be 11 graders. The level of English is upper intermediate. The lesson objectives. We are going to, with the students, we are going to practice reading strategies to analyze peculiarities of a particular author's language and style, to demonstrate knowledge and understanding of the main events and characters as they relate to the author's theme development. We also will develop critical thinking skills and develop the ability to express a point of view on a topic. The educational aim is to enlarge students' vocabulary that goes beyond high-frequency lexes. The developing aim is to develop students' critical thinking skills to solve problems creatively. The upbringing aim is to motivate students for reading books in the original and to consider the importance of judging people as individuals rather than as members of groups. The type of the lesson, fixation of knowledge and developing of language skills and abilities. The book that we are going to deal with is called The Outsiders. Here you see some quotes from the book. The Outsiders is a brutally honest portrayal of the youth culture. There is no attempt in it to dodge or disguise the truth about life on the streets. It captures what is essentially still unresolved today: the unfair distribution of wealth, the lack of opportunity and access to education for all, the misfortune that families need to endure and overcome, and the ever-present violence that flares up as a result. The narrative of a 14-year-old boy who is called Pony Boy manages to skillfully move between the tragic waste of potential and the enduring hope for the future. And the reader is left as passionate for change as the young author was in 1967. It should be mentioned that the book is included into the official curriculum for high school students in the United States of America. Susan Ellis Hinton is the author of the book. By the time she was 17 years old, she was already a published author. While still in high school, Hinton put in words what she saw and felt when growing up, and called the book The Outsiders, now a classic story of two sets of high school rivals, the Greasers and the Socs. Because her hero was a greaser and outsider, her tale was one of gritty realism. Hinton launched a revolution in young adult literature. Today, almost 50 years after the first publication, The Outsiders ranks as a classic, still widely read, and one of the most important and taboo-breaking books in the field. The Outsiders marked the beginning of a new kind of realism in books written for young adults. Though the exact location of the story is never mentioned, it can be presumed that the author, depicting real events that had taken place in her hometown, had in her mind Tulsa City, State, Oklahoma, the United States of America. So while reading this novel, you will learn words and phrases characterizing teenage conversation. You will get to know the 1960s realia. You will write journal entries basing on your life experience. You will explain and support the novel themes. You will create a portfolio made up of different assignments. The narration of the story by a 14-year-old boy allows the novel to be written in an easy-to-read format. For this reason, the book is full of informal language, the 1960s slang and even jargon. The following slides will deal with the slang of those years. As you see, another name for the police is fuzz. And here is a quote, "Watch out, the fuss is after us." It should be taken into account that the police is singular and the fuss is also singular. Hitter. Hitter is a gun. When did you start carrying a heater? Asked one of the characters in this book. Broad. This is an adjective and it was used in terms of speaking about a girl's appearance. That Kim was one knockout broad. Rank is also an adjective, something unpleasant and repugnant. That band you like is rank. Tough is an adjective, stands for cool, amazing, superb. A 1967 Mustang is one tough car. Kansas stick or weed stands for a cigarette. Pass me a Kansas stick, Johnny. I could really use a weed right now. Hood or hoodlum, hooligan. The hoods cause trouble at night. Rumble, big fight. There was a big rumble at the park. Jumped, participle 2. He got jumped by 3 guys, means he was attacked by these people. Hacked off, I was hacked off at my parents. I was indignant. They drove me crazy. Make tracks. Hurry, we gotta make tracks. Means we have to go, we should start going. The cooler. When did you get out of the cooler? Means when did you get out of the jail, of the prison? Booze stands for any alcohol or particularly for beer. JD means juvenile delinquent, a person who is often sent to jail and had to do some social jobs. Some other language. The word lonesome or loned, the expression loned, are often repeated throughout the whole novel. What were you doing, working by your lonesome? I've stayed by my lonesome before. I usually loan it anyway. And there are also exclamations, usually of astonishment, surprise, joy, or bewilderment. Glory, gosh, golly, gee, boy howdy, shoot, well up. The names. Many of the greasers have unusual names in the book, either given by parents or the birth certificate, or by friends, as better fitted than the official name. The Curtis boys, Pony Boy, Soda Pop, and Daryl Shane, were named by their father, an original person as Pony describes him. And Soda Pop's pet name is, of course, Pepsi Cola. Keith Two-Bit Matthews is never called by his real name. Ponyboy thinks even his teachers have forgotten what it is. His name gives the reader an insight into his personality. You couldn't shut up that guy, Ponyboy writes. He always had to get his two-bit worth it. Means he always wants to be involved in any situation which is going on. Among the East Side characters, that means the people from the Greasers gang, are also Dallas and Curly, as opposed to Bob, Randy, Paul of the Socials. Johnny Cade Pony's best friend and the unofficial little brother of the whole gang, is often called Johnny Cake or Johnny Kid by his friends, a marker of affection. Some kind of abbreviation of the official name is used for nearly every member of the gang. Pony, Soda, Dari, Dally. And strangely enough, Cherry, a representative of the rival group, Socials, is also wearing an affectionate tiny name. Though her official name is Cherry, no one calls her that name. Everyone calls her Cherry. Some syntactic structures should be taken into account before starting to read the book. Adjective in place of an adverb. I sweated something fierce instead of fiercely. I was scared so bad instead of badly. I kept my mouth shut good, well. I liked Sandy just fine, very much. Don't take him serious instead of seriously. He's been hurt bad sometime, badly. There is awful instead of awfully sorry to hit you. You sure can cuss good, means well. Some other syntactic structure. Double negative is often used by the boys. He don't mean nothing. I ain't got nobody. Dally won't tell me nothing. I ain't never been in the country before. And the verb is often left out in a colloquial speech. You called Pony? You in love with Sandy? Where are you headed? The two major groups characters in The Outsiders. That are the following slides. Greasers. They are wearing jeans, leather jackets, t-shirts. They spend most of their time in the street. They are careless about what they look like, opposed to socials, which wear designer clothes. For greasers, the switchblade represents strength and power. The greasers felt safer when carrying this to protect themselves. And many of the greasers started smoking at an early age. It made them feel older and helped them fit into their group. The coolest of the young men often wore leather jackets over t-shirts with jeans and loafers. Often this outfit would make people think that their wearer was a hoodlum. To accomplish this look, lots of hair grease was required. In this case, a little dab won't be enough. This is where the term greasers was first established. Socials. The blue Mustang represents the upper class. It stands for money, power, and authority. Rings are also a symbol of wealth. A lot of social guys wear rings, and the rings played a very big part at the beginning of the book when the main character was attacked by these people. Madras is often mentioned. This is the fabric of which many of socials' clothes are made. As for women, they wore their hair either soft and curled or pulled into a ponytail and secured by a colorful scarf. Men often wore their hair in a buzz cut or flat top. They never used grease for their hairstyles. Drive-in movies were very popular for those days. In 1960s, in the United States of America, a lot of people whiled away their time in the evening by going out and spending 3 to 4 hours outside in a drive-in movie, watching a movie or two. And this is where the first meeting of the main character with his beloved girl took place. There are also some allusions that can be encountered in The Outsiders. Paul Newman, Great Expectations book by Charles Dickens, Gone with the Wind, also very famous book by Margaret Mitchell, The Beatles, rock band, Elvis Presley, and the poem Nothing Gold Can Stay. Paul Newman is a famous actor known for his good looks and blue eyes. He starred in many famous and popular American movies of those times. Great Expectations by Charles Dickens is a story of a boy, an orphan boy, who was adopted by a blacksmith family. Throughout reading the book, the reader comes to know that he learns how to find happiness. He learns how to love and be loved. Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. This is an American classic in which a manipulative woman and a roguish man carry on a turbulent love affair in the American South during the Civil War of the 19th century. The Beatles were also mentioned as a model after which the Socialists took. They were an English rock band and they lived in Liverpool in 1960s, and one of the most commercially successful groups and critically acclaimed. They were very important in the history of popular music. Elvis Presley was also mentioned in the novel, and he was also a popular American singer of the 20th century. He was a cultural icon, and people just often called him Elvis without his last name. Also other titles, King of Rock and Roll and simply the King. Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. This is a poem that appears somewhere in the middle of the book, but the themes that it is about can be depicted in many situations. This simple and beautiful poem illustrates the coming of age with plants and nature. When you are young and you are gold, everything is new and beautiful. After a short time, hence, but only so an hour, you prepare for adulthood, like when leaf subsides to leaf, as a tree prepares itself for winter. So Eden sank to grief refers to looking back on your past and wishing you were still a kid. So dawn goes down today is becoming an adult. You can't stay a kid, and nothing gold can stay. You can read this poem and feel the beauty and rhythm of it. Well, before reading the book, you will deal with a journal. The journal entries will be written from prompts provided. The aim is to expose you to several writing activities, introducing to the main themes of The Outsiders. The entries will vary from questions in regards to one character, a theme, an issue, or an event. In entry 1, think of the title to the novel, The Outsiders. What sort of images does the title bring to your mind? And draw your visualizations in your journal. Entry 2. Write the following statement in your journal. Decide if you strongly agree, strongly disagree, or disagree with the statement. Explain why you feel that way. The statement is, a person's physical appearance, including how they dress, tells a lot about them. The task is the same, but the statement is different. Entry 3. It's easy to be friends with people who are different from me. Do you strongly agree? Do you just agree? Do you strongly disagree or disagree with it? Entry 4. The statement is, people who are alike should stay together. I must remind you that you deal with your personal experience. You haven't started reading the book yet. Entry 5. The environment you are raised in determines your future. Do you agree, strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree? And finally, entry 6. Write answers to the following questions. Which qualities of people, for example, the way they dress, their grades in school, their possessions, the way they talk, their physical appearance, where they live, who their friends are, how they treat their friends, their ethnicity, their interests, their talents, etc., tell you something of true significance about a person. Which qualities would you want to be judged on, and why? Which would you not want to be judged by, and why? There are several conflicts that the book touches upon. These conflicts are man versus man, man versus society, man versus himself, man versus nature. And there are different forms of conflict. Here you can think about examples of your problems and conflict. You may complain about your problems. How do you feel about your discussing your problems when all other people have their own problems? Themes in the book. Bridging the gap between the rich and the poor. Sochi's and Greece's bitter rivalry stems from social and economic differences, though each group has some things in common. Cherry and Ponyboy discuss their shared love of literature, popular music, and sunsets. The author insists that shared passions can fill in the gap between the rich and the poor. Honor among the lawless. Greasers see it as their duty to stand up for each other in the face of enemies and authorities. Dali led himself to be arrested for a crime that Two-Bit had committed. Speaking about Gone with the Wind, Johnny says that he views Dali as a southern gentleman, as a man with a fixed personal code of behavior, gallant. Innocence. Ponyboy is very innocent and immature. He feels uncomfortable around girls. He tries to figure out why Sochis and Greases fight, why his brother is overworked, and why they don't have any money. He does not understand any of these complex issues. On the contrary, Two-Bit is not innocent. He knows that no matter how much Marcia might like him, they can never date because they are too different. Isolation. Ponyboy feels alienated from everyone around him. He may be united with the Greasers against the Socs, but he doesn't feel like he can really talk to even the Greasers. Cherry feels isolated. She says that sometimes she doesn't even want to do things she says she wants to do, or mean what she says when she talks to friends. Misunderstanding. Soda Pop tries to explain to Pony that Dari really loves him. He just doesn't know how to show it. Pony refuses to believe it, seeing Dari's love and concern as anger and overprotectiveness. Here we are going to deal with a portfolio. For this portfolio, you will need a folder where you will keep your notes. The front page will include your name, your title, and the picture related to the book. You will have to complete all the expectations as indicated on the following slides. Neatness and clarity is important, so type your answers and skip lines between each answer. Part 1. It deals with the author facts. On a piece of paper, write author facts and then answer the following questions. Part 2. Character map. You should design a character map that describes each character personality and appearance and illustrates the relationship between the character. Here is the first example of a map. Here is another example of a map. You are to create your own map. Part 3. Plot development. Answer the following questions. The next part, character development, continuation. Answer the following questions. And continuation of character development. Answer the following questions. Character development, continuation. Here are the questions, and here are the characters. The questions deal with chapters 1 through 6. Character development continued. Answer these questions. Setting. On a piece of paper, write the word setting and then answer the following questions. Themes in The Outsiders. On a piece of paper, write theme, then answer the following questions. The Outsiders study questions. On a piece of paper, write study guide, then answer the following questions in healthy paragraphs of 5 to 7 sentences. Literary terms. On a piece of paper, write literary terms, then answer the following questions. The next part, vocabulary development. On a piece of paper, write vocabulary development, then answer the following questions. And now let's go through the list of the parts of the portfolio that you are supposed to compile. The following are all the parts covered. Part 1, author facts. Part 2, character map. Part 3, nothing gold can stay analysis. Part 4, conflict. Part 5, plot development. Part 6, character development. Part 7, setting. Part 8, themes. Part 9, study guide questions. Part 10, literary terms. Part 11, vocabulary development. And in the end of this lesson, I should tell you that Francis Ford Coppola had directed an adaptation of this novel. First, he was not interested to make a film about teens until a teacher of middle school students wrote to him on behalf of her students about adapting The Outsiders. When Coppola read the book, he was moved to adapt and direct it. The actors, Diane Lane and Matt Dillon, went on to appear in Coppola's related film Rumblefish. Emilio Estevez went on to be in That Was Then, This Is Now. The Outsiders film was nominated for 4 Young Artists Awards, given annually since 1978 by the Young Artist Foundation. Diane Lane was nominated for Best Young Supporting Actress in a Motion Picture. The film was nominated for Best Family Feature Motion Picture. Frances was nominated for the Golden Prize at the 30th Moscow International Film Festival. The original film score was composed by the director's father, Carmine Coppola. The main theme, Stay Gold, was sung by Stevie Wonder. You may want to see The Outsiders movie after watching a trailer for it.
Hey, who's looking for police trouble, man? I just want to go see a movie like the good old days, right, Johnny?
Worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going.
I came here to see a movie, and I'm gonna see a movie. What's your name?
Pony Boy Curtis.
What are you doing? Yeah, look, you bitch. You know what time it is? What do you guys know?
I killed him.
Johnny, you don't know what a few months of jail can do to you, man. You get mean in jail. I just don't want to see that happen to you like it happened to me, man. You understand?
No, you're gonna be alright, kid.
I will
You got it.
remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let
So this is what you get, huh? This is what you get for helping people.
life pass you by.
Yeah, well, that's okay, because I don't want you to go see him anyways. We don't need your damn charity.
Pony Boy!
The Outsiders is a book that shows that beneath the trappings of matters or leather, individual hearts have much in common. So I would highly recommend you reading this book. Keep calm and stay gold. Thank you for your attention.